Let's look at when a zero crediting is a hero, a current event when the market dropped and there was no downside risk for a fixed indexed annuity. In early 2020, the world changed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which hit our country and the world as a whole. COVID-19 created unprecedented challenges and, yes, affected the financial market greatly. On February 19th, the S&P peaked at 3386, and in just 33 short days, it dropped nearly 40% down to 2237. To demonstrate the impact of a 40% loss, let's look at some simple numbers. If you had $1,000 in the market and lost 40%, you would now have $600. What would it take to get back to where you started? Most would think just 40%. However, $600 times 40% equals $240. That only gets you back to $840. So, you would need more than 40%. It's actually 66.6% just to get back to where you started. What if you had something in place that would keep your money from dropping into these negative numbers? Even a 0% loss would be better than a 40% loss. In such a case, zero really would be your hero, the equivalent of the 66.6% necessary to get back to where you started. For many, COVID-19 represented unprecedented times, but for the stock market, that was not the case. To see another example, we only have to look at the subprime mortgage and credit crisis of 2007. On October 9th of that year, the S&P peaked at 1565, and over the next 517 days, it dropped nearly 57%, down to 677. Ouch! Do you know people who were impacted by this slump in the market? If only zero could have been their hero. And another recent example that most remember living through happened at the turn of the century with the dot-com bubble to the dot-bomb burst. This time, March 24, 2000 represented the S&P's peak of 1527, only to be followed by a 929-day drop of 49%, landing at 777. In this case, 777s was not so lucky for those riding the market. Do you think you could have ridden that roller coaster for nearly 3 years? Or would you have been wishing you had zero as your hero? These are just 3 recent examples of peaks and troughs in the market. You don't have to look too hard to see many more on the road behind us, and it doesn't take a crystal ball to realize there will be more to come. The only question is, will you ride the market down with all the others, or will you allow zero to be your hero? Were you or someone you know affected by one of these downturns in the market financially?